Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're watching from. It's been a while, it's almost a month right now. We have not been having the KO talk, and the reason why I have been in a really tight work schedule, and also due to some unavoidable circumstances, but I'm back to the seat, back to KO Talk. As always, I'm your host, the blackest lady in Africa, Kezia Onsarigo. Stay tuned till the our topic today, or the discussions or the talk we are going to have today, it's how to deal with our enemies. We have people that who did bad to us and we hated them, and today we are going to learn on how to deal with them. Since this is the last week of the year 2022, it will never come back again. This is the last week, and today being a Wednesday, the last Wednesday of the year, I want us to learn something on how to deal with our enemies. So when we cross to 2023, it will be a year of blessings, and we won't be having people troubling us we could have done with our enemies. And I'm going to give an illustration from a priest that I learned some time back when I went to church. So this is it. One day, a priest asked the followers, the believers, to bring tomatoes in a plastic bag. And these tomatoes they were to bring in a plastic bag, they were to bring them, each tomato inside that plastic bag was to be named the person you hate. So if you hate five persons, you are going to bring a plastic bag of tomatoes with 5 tomatoes inside, and these tomatoes they'll have the names of the people you hate in your mind, not writing on the tomatoes. In your mind you'll have the names of the people you hate. So if you have 5 people, you're bring 5. Some brought 1, some brought 2, some brought 20, some brought even 25, 15. Each one of the believer brought tomatoes according to the person or the persons they hate. So when that day when they brought those tomatoes, they were dressed so nicely, very neat, and carrying their tomatoes in their bags, ready to deal with their enemies. And this is what the priests told them. When they gathered after they had finished the service, the priest told them that they need to work with those tomatoes for 2 weeks. Wherever they are going, they need to have those tomatoes with them for 2 weeks. Since it's a way to deal with your enemy, and most of us, we don't even want them to wake up the following morning, they went ahead, they did what the priest told them, because they were dealing with their enemies. So they carried the tomatoes wherever they were going to. After 2 weeks, they came back, and they were supposed to come back after 2 weeks. So they were to work with the tomatoes everywhere. Not even a single day you are going to leave your tomatoes behind. You are to work with them everywhere. Even if you're going to work, you're going to meet with your friends, you're going to have fun, wherever that you are going, you are supposed to carry the tomatoes with you. After 2 weeks, they came back, and some were complaining too much because the tomatoes had rotten, they were smelling, and those who had carried more tomatoes, like 20, 30, 15, they were complaining of the load. The tomatoes were heavy, and the tomatoes were smelling. The smelling of they got spoiled, because try to imagine you having tomatoes in a plastic bag for 2 weeks, and you're walking with them wherever that you're going. Sometimes you have hot seasons, sometimes you have cold. Even if it's a cold seasons, for 2 weeks in a plastic bag, the tomatoes will get spoiled. they were complaining to the priest, why are we carrying, why did you let us carry this and still. But since they wanted to deal with the enemies, they had no option. So when they came back, that's where I said, like, I have to talk about this. And always this channel, as you know, it's about encouraging one another on daily activities on a positive way. When they brought back the tomatoes after 2 weeks, when they met with the priest asked them, how was the experience? And that's when the complaining now exceeded. Like, they were saying it was one thing, it was so unfair, it was so bad for them walking with tomatoes everywhere. And the other people are complaining the load was so heavy. Others were saying after some time it got spoiled and it was smelling so bad. It was like a bad impression to their friends, it was a bad impression to their workmates. And what the priest told them, this is what we always do with our hearts. This is a lesson to learn from the tomatoes that you are carrying wherever you are going to, because these tomatoes were representing the people you hate. And he told them, our hearts, they are a garden of fresh tomatoes, very fresh tomatoes. So when you keep on carrying hatred, carrying anger inside you, it makes the heart to get spoiled. And the lesson that he wanted the believers to learn from walking away with the tomatoes, he wanted them to learn about forgiveness. And he said, this is just similar to what happens to your heart when you have hatred. When you brought these tomatoes, you were dressed so nice, and the tomatoes were so fresh, they were looking so good. But since you kept on having them, they got spoiled. It's the same with your heart. While you have hatred in it, be it it's 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, as the days goes by, you are spoiling your heart. And if you want to have a good life and a happy life, you have to let hatred out of it. Forgive those people who made you angry, or those people who angered you, and make a room for restoration of good things. Make a room in your heart for restoration of good things. Hatred is not good for your heart. It's not good for your health also. We have some diseases that we are getting them through hate. Like the similar one that mostly is affected through that one, it's when you have ulcers. And we have so many types of ulcers. Some ulcers are brought through stress, and the stress you have, it's from what is happening to you. Either this person did to me this, I did not say anything, he did to me the second thing, I did not do anything. The hatred that we have in us is the one that is making our hearts to feel bad. We are spoiling our hearts by the hatred we are carrying it. So let us learn a lesson from these tomatoes. If you walk with the tomatoes for 2 weeks in a plastic bag, the same way that they get spoiled, they get that the smell comes out and it's so bad, and it's sometimes you have that water that's coming from there, and it's not pleasant even you to walk with them. It's the same way you're doing to your heart. It's not pleasant with you to work with somebody you hate with. As we come to the end of the year 2022, let us leave the hatred. The people who forgave you, even if they have not come to ask for apology, forgive them. Because when you continue carrying that hate in you, it's not affecting them, it's affecting you. For you are there, even you sometimes when you see them, you feel like, oh, but for them it's well with them, they're doing good. You're the one who is harming yourself. And today I will leave a parting shot that is saying you need to get better and not bitter. That is it for today. Thank you so much, and I'm wishing you a prosperous new year, a blessed one with answered prayers, because we will be meeting with you next year. Today is the last Wednesday of the year. Next Wednesday we'll be meeting. It will be a new year with new things. Thank you so much. If it's your first time watching this channel, please take that step, subscribe, hit the bell notification so that you'll be notified anytime a video is uploaded here. And always, always, always don't forget to keep that peace. Until next time, until next year, bye bye. I wish you a happy new year and a prosperous one in God's hands. Be blessed always. Bye.